Welcome back, everyone. For today's video, we are going to be taking a look at the third day of the World Rapid and Blitz Championship being held in New York City.
Hello and welcome back to a brand new video, guys. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the Blitz Chess Championship match going on, and we will be heading in the finals, first gen, and up till now, this has been a very tough match. So these are the standings right now. After today's 13 matches, we see Ian Nepomniachtchi being on top. So we'll be taking a look at two great games played by players today. One is between Magnus Carlsen and Hans Niemann, and other one is between Magnus Carlsen and Ian Nepomniachtchi. So the first match is between Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen. The game starts with e4, e5. We see king's pawn opening, and then a game develops into 3-knight opening, and then gets more interesting because then it develops into 4-knight opening. Now here Magnus avoids a book move and instead moves h3. This is something he missed maybe, or that was the idea. He didn't want to go by the book move. And now Hans goes for d5, getting the center and offering some trades. Pawn takes pawn. We see knight taking the pawn, and then we see the bishop developing, which is a good move by Magnus. The knight takes, and the pawn takes the knight, and so this opens up the squares for the bishop. Then we see normal development, and here we see just basic moves. This is an inaccuracy by Magnus Carlsen. The engine suggests that he must have taken this before, and then if the rook takes, you just take it with the queen, and you have a better position and a better pawn structure, because now this can't take because you're just clearly winning. But instead, Magnus Carlsen goes for taking this here. Then queen takes the rook. The game continues somewhat like this. Magnus starts pushing the knight here, and Hans is trying to defend very well. Magnus does a great move here, finding good moves here, and the game actually just continues until Hans actually blunders. This is not a blunder, but this is a miss. He thinks he can attack this rook here, but in reality, this can be better for white, and that happens because he moves the rook to b1, escaping any attacks here. He moves the bishop, he moves the knight. They're all just playing defensive, and so the game continues for a while until we see Magnus trying to attack, but there's no clear options of attacking right now. So there is no position that you can attack into and actually win. Here, this is a miss by Magnus. He misses the idea. He was thinking something like this, which is not going to happen. So he just puts his rook here with the idea to pin the rook, but instead what he could have done was rook to b4, taking this bishop here, and if the bishop goes here, you just win. So this could have been a major good idea, because then even if it gives a check, you just step out of the check, because you have an open square here, and you're just basically winning. You have a better position. And now with the rook off the board, you have your rook and your queen and a bishop. So that makes your position very well. So instead, the game continues here, and we see king h2 before all of these moves after this blunder. And then he moves bishop to c6. This is again a blunder, and Magnus does not find this great move here. Instead, he moves the queen to g3 with the idea to attack this knight here, and the knight just moves. Takes this pawn, so he's just losing pawns now. Magnus is just losing pawns, and here we see a draw between Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen, because if the game continues, the game would end up in a position somewhat like this, and you have opposite colored bishops, and so there won't be a winning chance here, and the game would probably end with a draw. So this was the game between Hans Niemann and Magnus Carlsen. Now we'll be taking a look at the match played between Ian Nepomniachtchi and Magnus Carlsen. So in this game here between Magnus Carlsen and Ian Nepomniachtchi, Magnus has the white pieces. The game starts with e4, e5, and then we see Petrov's defense classical variation. These are just book moves, and the game actually develops into something which is very complicated, very positional. given the time, it's just 3 minutes. The game is very positional. Magnus starts finding good moves here, and through move 19, we see a very tough position because of all the pawn structure Black has. Black is lined up to attack here, but White is defending very well with these pieces here. We see a bit of trades on the board, and then the game continues. He takes here, the bishop is off the board, and Black has no bishops on the board while White has a bishop on the board, and also 2 rooks as well, but just White is down 1 knight. Magnus starts playing like Magnus, and now he starts finding all the best moves here. Given the time pressure, only 57 seconds, he finds moves like queen to h3, also pawn moves g6. He finds this brilliant sacrifice, which is bishop takes on g6. After take, he finds another great move. The game still continues. We see the knight coming off the board. And now we are heading towards a win for Magnus. Magnus can win this game if he plays it correctly. And now he starts to do inaccuracies here. So he brings in the rook with the idea to somewhat attack this position here. Maybe somewhat like, put the rook here or trade some rooks. So he has no clear ideas, but he's trying, and then he takes this free pawn, furthermore making his position worse. So what he could have done here was queen to h6 with the idea that now probably you go for a queen trade and you're better off. I guess the game would look like somewhat like this. And now you're probably winning. White is winning. White can push the pawns because this is stuck here. And yeah, I mean, white is better. But instead, Magnus pushes and takes this pawn here with the rook and takes the rook. Magnus takes the rook back, giving a check. This is a great move because now the queen can't give a check because the queen could just die. And now Magnus realizes that the game is not in a good position, so he repeats move, forcing a draw in the game. And yeah, this is how the game continues, because after this move here, Magnus is just doomed, and that's a checkmate. So he avoids the checkmate and repeats move here, and this ends up in a draw. So these were the matches today. I hope you liked the video and the analysis. I'll see you in the next video. Till that, take care and goodbye.